Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the regular City Council meeting held virtually via WebEx of September 8th, 2020 of the Ridgefield City Council to order. The first item on our agenda, if everyone can please put themselves on camera and take themselves off of mute and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. The next item is our open forum, and I just want to go to staff and see if anybody has called in for open forum or if anybody is on the line waiting to speak.
Thank you, Mayor. We do not have anybody on the line currently, and I did not receive any emails or phone calls this week or last week for participation. But if you'd like to give it 30 seconds or a minute here, just because of the delay, I would appreciate that. I will review if residents would like to call in and participate in our open forum live during the City Council meetings. You can call the phone number of 612-861-0651. If you would like to participate by leaving a message, you can call 612-861-9711. And that's if you'd like to leave a message prior to the meetings. You can also email myself at kwynn@richfieldmn.gov.
Great, thank you. We'll give it a little bit of time here. Okay, seeing as nobody's here for the open forum, I will close the open forum and go to our next item, which is the approval of the minutes of the City Council work session of August 10th, 2020, the City Council meeting of August 10th, 2020, and the special City Council meeting of August 14th, 2020.
Second.
I'll second that.
Great, thank you. And I believe the motion was made by Councilmember Garcia, is that correct?
That's right.
Great, thank you. And seconded by Councilmember Supple. Analyst Martinez Gavinia, could you please take the roll call vote?
Mayor Reagan Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Supple.
Aye.
Councilmember Tubman. Councilmember Tubman, I believe you're muted. We'll come back. Councilmember Garcia.
Aye.
Councilmember Whalen.
Aye.
And again, Councilmember Trotman, I believe you are muted, so we cannot hear you. I guess I'll, Mayor, do we want to move on?
Yeah, I think we can move on and pass the minutes with the 4 votes.
Yep, we have 4 ayes.
Thank you. So seeing as we have 4 ayes, the minutes have been approved. And then maybe we can just, oh, there you go. Are you there, Councilmember Chapman?
I am. It just went mute for a second.
Okay.
So I couldn't hear. Hi.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So the minutes have been approved. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Supple, I'll move approval of the agenda.
Garcia.
Councilmember Whalen, I'll second.
Okay, the agenda has been, the motion has been made by Councilmember Supple to approve the agenda and seconded by Councilmember Whalen. Analyst Martinez Gavinia, could you please take the roll call vote?
Mayor Reagan Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Supple.
Aye.
Councilmember Trotman.
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia.
Aye.
Councilmember Whalen.
Aye.
We have 5 ayes.
Thank you. The agenda has been approved. The next item is the consent calendar, and that will go to City Manager Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mayor. The consent calendar contains several separate items which are acted upon by the City Council in one motion. Once the consent calendar has been approved, the individual items and recommended actions have also been approved. No further council action on these items is necessary. Item A, approval by motion, an agreement to grant an easement as part of a site lease agreement at 1901 East 66th Street between the City of Ridgefield and Salco Partnership, doing business as Verizon Wireless. Item B, consider the approval of the Minnesota Department of Human Services Dementia Grant Contract, acting through the Minnesota Board of Aging. The contract is effective from July 20th, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. Item C, consider the approval of the continuation of an agreement with the City of Bloomington for the provision of food, pools, lodging, therapeutic massage, and body art establishment inspection services for the City of Ridgefield for 2021. Item D, consider the approval of an agreement between Hennepin County Human Services and Public Health Department and the City of Ridgefield Police Department to participate in the Joint Community Police Partnership Program from March 16th, 2020 through December 31st, 2023. Item E, consider the adoption of the City of Ridgefield Water Supply Plan. Item F, consider the approval of the first reading of an ordinance amendment to the Ridgefield City Code Appendix D fee schedule related to planning and zoning fees and schedule a public hearing and second reading for September 22nd, 2020. Item G, consider acceptance of the bid tabulation and award for water treatment plant solids holding tank mixing system project contract to Magni Construction, Inc., the amount of $63,150, and authorize the city manager to approve contract changes up to $175,000 without further city council consideration as authorized by city charter. And I submit all of these items for your consideration as part of the consent calendar.
Mayor, I wanted to ask about item D.
Go ahead, Councilmember Garcia.
Okay, I know I think we already have hired somebody, but is that person currently working out of City Hall?
Yes, council member, they are working part-time with us now.
Okay, but they're going to go into full-time later?
I believe that's the plan. I know Chief Henthorn I think Chief Henthorn's on the meeting and he could probably provide better details.
Well, that's okay. That's fine. So I'll move the consent calendar.
I'm sorry, I think I was muted. We will have the liaison full-time September 14th. I apologize.
Okay, good. Thank you, Jay. And with that, I'll move the consent calendar.
I'll second. I was wondering if I could just jump in
Absolutely.
real
Go
quick
ahead,
too.
Councilmember Troutman.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say we're really glad to have our new liaison on board and understand that they've been working hard for the county and responding to the pandemic. But as she's coming on board, we'd love to, if there is a way to facilitate any kind of greeting, whether it's at another council meeting or in another venue, it'd be great to be able to introduce her to the community and to the council whenever it's convenient.
Good idea.
Okay, the motion has been made by Councilmember Garcia, seconded by Councilmember Troutman, and I see that Councilmember Whalen has wants to speak, so I'll just open it up for council questions or discussion. Councilmember Whalen?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to comment on, I know we've had the work toward it becoming a dementia-friendly city and our local group. It was really, really cool to see in this grant contract just kind of the update on all of the work that they're doing. The grant is going to facilitate some specific outreach to our Latino community and addressing some of the stigma in that community of Alzheimer's and dementia, and just really excited about this work. So wanted to make sure that they got a little highlight there.
Thank you, Councilmember Whalen. Councilmember Supple.
I was also very excited about that particular item, and I thought it was interesting that they had some statistics that there are over 750 people in Ridgefield that are over the age of 65 that are living with dementia. And so that kind of highlights why it's such an important program. And so I'm very happy to see this moving forward.
Thank you,
That's a
Councilmember
high
Supple.
number. That's a high number of people with dementia. That's too bad.
Absolutely.
I'm glad we have that Jennifer Anderson's doing a good job with that.
Yeah, I'd also like to just echo the support and excitement around that item and our JCPP liaison as well. Those are such important community initiatives, and it's exciting to see that work moving forward. And thank you to the staff, I know, and the community members that have really helped make both of those things happen. But I know that it's quite a process to go through the dementia friendly community designation. So it's great to see us moving forward. Any other council comments? Councilmember Whalen.
I also, I wasn't going to say anything, but my wife and I were laughing actually that to be voting on a sludge mixer seems a little silly, but I just want to give a shout out that we literally use our water every single day and have staff at the water plant making that possible, getting us some of the best water in the area, in the state. And so to whoever manages our sludge mixer, thank you. And thank you to all the water plant staff.
Absolutely. That's something I brag about probably on a weekly, if not more, basis. For sure. Great. Analyst Martinez Gavinia, could you please take the roll call vote?
Mayor Reagan Gonzalez,
Aye.
Councilmember Supple,
Aye.
Councilmember Trotman.
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia,
Aye.
Councilmember Whalen.
Aye.
We have 5 ayes.
Thank you. The consent calendar has been approved. The consent agenda, sorry. The next item number 4, goes to Councilmember Supple.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This item is to consider the approval of the second reading of an ordinance that includes requirements for all persons using designated off-leash dog areas in the city of Ridgefield parks it includes a slight modification to the rule number 1. So the community is excited for the development of an off-leash dog area within the city of Ridgefield park system. Roosevelt Park has been approved as a location, and various site prep and project planning has occurred. Before construction can begin, an amendment to the Ridgefield Code of Ordinances is needed to support the safety of park guests and dogs. City staff has studied other off-leash dog area rules and ordinances and has met numerous times to collaboratively develop a specific ordinance that would create a safe space to both dog owners and dogs to recreate. The new ordinance will be displayed at the off-leash park as the park rules, and it will be used for safety, education, and enforcement when needed. The ordinance includes both rules for the off-leash dog area and liability for the amenity. Staff have made a slight modification to the first rule of the ordinance since the first reading, and it now states that all dogs that visit an off-leash dog area need to be registered and licensed with the city of Ridgefield. This will allow for more people to have access to the park than how it was stated before. This will ensure that all dogs are up to date with all vaccinations and that use the facility, and that we will be able to efficiently track any dogs if an issue should arise. I see that Director Markle's on the line. Did you want to add anything?
Thank you, Councilmember Seppel. Not a whole lot other than we did make the modification to rule number 1 after some other community member feedback from other municipalities that stated that they would like to visit our dog park, but they didn't know anybody in Ridgefield. And the way it was originally stated, they would have had to have been with a resident of Ridgefield. So in an effort to be more inclusive, and also looking at it, it'd be a lot easier for us to track specific dogs and their vaccinations if everybody was licensed and registered within the city of Ridgefield. We're excited for the dog park. I'm hopeful that if the ordinance passes tonight, that we would be opening the dog park around October 9th on a Friday next month.
Cool, thank you. Well, I would like to move that we approve the second reading of the ordinance that includes requirements for all persons using designated off-leash dog areas in the city of Ridgefield parks with the included modification to Rule 1 of the ordinance.
Councilmember Whalen, I'll second.
Thank you. The motion has been made by Councilmember Seppel and seconded by Councilmember Whalen. Are there any comments or questions from council members? Nope. I'd just like to say I'm super excited for this, and I know a lot of residents are as well. And I know that our Community Services Commission has also done such an excellent job in helping shepherd this through. And it's just a little plug for the great work that the board and the commissions do. And this is an example of the really cool projects that they get to do in the community. So hopefully folks are interested in joining our boards and commissions and can help this kind of work move forward. Other comments or questions? Councilmember Troutman.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to echo those thoughts and say that this is something I've heard from a lot of constituents that they were really interested in, and so we're really glad to have this on, and want to thank Director Markle and our Community Services Commission and everyone and our city attorney for helping us tweak our ordinances to make sure that this is a great rollout. So thank you, everybody. Great.
Any other comments? Councilmember Garcia, do you have a comment?
No, my puppies are too young to be out in the park. They're just babies, to me anyway.
Thank you. Well, seeing as we have no other comments, Analyst Martinez Gavinia, could you please take the roll call vote?
Mayor Reagan Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Seppel. Councilmember Troutman. Councilmember Garcia.
Aye.
Councilmember Whalen.
Aye.
We have 5 ayes.
Thank you. The motion has been approved. The next item, item number 5, goes to Councilmember Whalen.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is a second reading of an ordinance establishing a prevailing wage policy for city-funded capital projects with estimated costs of $300,000 or more. The city of Ridgefield is currently required to pay or require contractors to pay a prevailing wage for projects that are funded with state and federal revenue. The Ridgefield City Council provided direction at a work session on February 11th of 2020 to expand the prevailing wage requirements to city-funded capital projects to better support the city of Ridgefield's economy and enhance the local standard of living. The council also supported staff's proposal to add contractual provisions to future development agreements to ensure compliance with labor laws and to display posters that provide support to human trafficking victims at every project worksite. It is in the public's best interest that developments and buildings constructed with financial assistance from the city be constructed and maintained by the best means and highest quality of labor reasonably available, and that persons working on the buildings and developments be compensated according to the real value of the services they perform, and that wages of laborers, workers, and mechanics on developments and buildings financially assisted by public funds be comparable to wages paid for similar work in the community as a whole. Currently, fair wages contractual provisions are part of an upcoming contract for private development with 6345 Partners, LLC, which will include provisions such as construction and ongoing operation of the project must comply with all local, state, and federal labor laws. The certificate of completion will be provided upon evidence that all contractors, subcontractors, and laborers have been paid. If the developer fails to comply with labor laws, they will be in default of the contract. If they are in default, the HRA can delay issuance of the tax increment, reduce the amount of the TIF by 20%, or terminate the contract. Additionally, contractors will be asked to display information to bring awareness to labor trafficking and wage theft practices on large-scale project work sites. And I will just add before we move on, I know I have received, I believe the whole council has received numerous letters from local unions or regional unions, as well as a local contractor in support of this provision, that this just goes toward general worker protections. Unfortunately, the construction industry is rife with problems with labor exploitation and wage theft, and we unfortunately experienced having someone in our city who was about to be and was then convicted for this. So important to be doing what we can to prevent this. And so I want to thank all of the unions who weighed in on this, who helped us get the research and the terminology for the right policies to work on this, and look forward to continuing to partner with them and other community organizations as we keep trying to address this issue. But with that, I'll ask if staff have anything they wanted to add. Director Stark?
Actually, this is, I believe it's Blanca's item.
Oh, sorry, Analyst Martinez Gavinia, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I don't have anything to add, and I'll just defer to City Manager Rodriguez.
Well, you are correct. Executive Analyst Martinez Gavina did shepherd this project through. Thank you, Director Stark. But also Director Stark helped, and also Public Works Director Asher helped. It was a team effort. So, and thanks for the council guidance on it.
Yes, thank you to all of the staff who helped make this happen. And with that, I will move to approve the second reading of an ordinance establishing a prevailing wage policy for city-funded projects with estimated costs of $300,000 or more.
Councilmember Troutman, second. Oh.
Okay, but I just have a couple of things to say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 1 second, Councilmember Garcia. I'm just going to state Councilmember Whalen has made the motion and it's been seconded by Councilmember Troutman, and I'll open it up for council discussion. Councilmember Garcia.
Thank you. Well, I've worked with labor unions for maybe 11, 12 years, and I've been a member of one union. And when labor unions have really done an awful lot for most people. I mean, we have OSHA now, which is a great protection for employees. We have benefits, health insurance benefits, and other benefits that accrue us as members of as employees. The one thing, this is really good because we are protecting our labor standards and we are promoting economic development in the way that it should be promoted. I also want to say that one of the things about that the unions have done, and I know some unions have, a lot of people don't have a positive image of unions, but if it weren't for the unions, we probably wouldn't have a middle class. The unions, by lobbying and working to make the workplace better, has helped families to live a more stable life. And so I really think that without unions, we'd be in bad shape. And although we sometimes, do, sometimes complain about them. Believe me, if they weren't for them, we wouldn't be enjoying the workplaces that we work in. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Garcia. Any other comments from council members? Councilmember Supple.
I do also think that the timing of this is fortuitous, and being that yesterday was Labor Day. And I echo Councilmember Garcia's feelings that organized labor has helped a lot to establish fairness and the middle class. And so I am glad that Ridgefield is going to be working for labor fairness here, because people work hard and they should be getting a fair wage, and anything we can do to make sure that we combat wage theft or labor trafficking and make sure that people get the wages for the work they've done, then I think that's a good thing. So thank you to all of the contractors who want to pay the fair wages, and also to all the unions that have fought for prevailing wage.
Thank you, Councilmember Troutman.
Thank you, Mayor. In addition to just agreeing with my colleagues, I just wanted to say, in addition to unions, this is just a great opportunity for all working people. And unions have organized and advocated for a prevailing wage, but it's not just a prevailing wage for union workers. It's prevailing wages for workers that have contracts with the city. And in addition to that, the wage theft and labor trafficking provisions really strengthens workers' rights for folks that are outside of unions and have been taken advantage of by developers. So it creates a powerful set of incentives and tools for the city to be able to claw back any kind of benefit we've given to contractors and developers who then turned around and took advantage of workers, and either through labor trafficking or through wage theft. So again, thank you to our staff who worked really hard on this, and not just hard, we're just very thoughtful and coming up with strategies and ways to implement this and to make in ways that will ensure we just continue to develop in our prosperous city, but in a way that really puts working individuals in a place where they're protected and their labor is valued. So thank you, Analyst Gavinia and Director Stark, and everybody. Really appreciate all the effort on lots of fronts.
Thank you. Any other council member comments? I will just again echo what everybody else is saying. This is, and I know we've been working on this and doing the research on prevailing wage for a couple years, and I've appreciated the leadership of Executive Analyst Martinez Gavinia on this project and the great work that our Community Development Department has been doing before passing this too, and working with developers and getting more information about, labor trafficking, wage theft, and how that might be happening or how to prevent that from happening before this vote tonight in our community. And this is kind of a comment about a couple items on the agenda, but I guess I'll just say it now because this is a part of it. But I just am, there's so many things on the agenda tonight that excite me, because this item, having our JCPP liaison working and voting on the dog park, and having an embedded mental health worker supporting that dementia friendly designation in the contract to keep supporting our seniors with dementia. These are just, in my opinion, the most important things in a community, and it's about the quality of life, and it's about building community and keeping our workers and our families safe and providing good livable wages and providing those basics for a strong community. And I just felt like this item and so many of the items on our agenda today really did lift that up. So I'm very excited to vote on this, and I'm extremely appreciative of the leadership of Executive Analyst Martinez Gavinia and everybody in our community development team, including Director Stark, for making this final and helping us get to this vote tonight. Great. Seeing as we have no other comments, Executive Analyst Martinez Gavinia, could you please take the roll call vote?
Mayor Reagan Gonzalez,
Aye.
Councilmember Supple,
Aye.
Councilmember Troutman, Councilmember Garcia,
Aye.
Councilmember Whalen.
Aye.
We have 5 ayes.
Thank you. The motion has been approved. The next item, number 6, goes to Councilmember Troutman.
Thank you, Mayor. This next item is consideration of adoption of a resolution designating the city's contribution towards health, dental, term life, and disability insurance premiums for 2021 for general services, management, fire, and all police bargaining units. In addition, adopt the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a 3-year agreement with Madison National Life Auchus Company for long-term disability insurance benefits. So the city contributes to the cost of premiums for 4 kinds of insurance coverage available to city employees. The full-time employee contributions are discussed within the staff report, as well as contributions towards health insurance for part-time regular general service employees. Local Government Information Systems Association, or LOGIS Group, changed the insurance carriers in 2017 to Health Partners Insurance. As part of the 5-year contract, rate banding was introduced, along with rate caps for each of the contract years. Initially, the forecast for 2021 benefit renewal was set as 12%. However, with the permanent elimination of the ACA tax and Ridgefield's positive movement within the bands, the city's 2021 renewal decreased to 3.86%. The 2021 dental rates were increased by 25% or 25 cents per employee and 50 cents for employees and spouse and children, and 50 cents for families with additional coverage added to the plan. The city self-insures its dental coverage, and life insurance rates will remain the same as the 2020 contract year. Pursuant to state law, cities must advertise for bids for long-term disability LTD coverage at least once every 5 years. In June, July 2020, the city of Ridgefield, through its agent, NFP, a division of Marsh USA Inc., advertised for bids and solicited proposals from 9 carriers for LTD coverage. After reviewing the quotes submitted with the assistance of NFP, it's apparent that Madison National Life Auchus Company options offers the lowest bid and will provide the level of benefits requested in the proposal. The city's current long-term disability provider, Cigna, extended beyond its 3-year contract and kept the rates the same for 2020, but is unable to remain competitive in 2021. This rate cap will expire on December 31st, 2020. The city's current contract will be canceled effective December 31st, 2020. The city called action on this matter is requested on September 8, 2020 to ensure a smooth transition into the January 1st, 2021 contract with Madison National Auchus Company. Police and fire bargaining units have adopted parameters mirroring the city's benefit plans for the management and general service employees. Local 49 bargaining unit members have not yet negotiated the 2021 contract, but have agreed in the past to adopt the same benefit plans offered to general services and management employees, and thus adopt a similar provision in their respective contract. So the recommendation would be to adopt a resolution, and I would move we adopt a resolution designating the city's contribution towards health, dental, term, long-term disability insurance premiums for 2021 for general service, management, and all fire and police bargaining units. So that's a mouthful, that's a motion.
All right, I'll second that motion, Councilmember Supple.
Thank you. The motion has been made by Councilmember Troutman and seconded by Councilmember Supple. Any comments or questions from our council? Okay, I would like to just give a huge thank you to Assistant City Manager Demetrenko for always leading these negotiations and always, working with every party involved and helping negotiate the best coverage for all of our employees. So thank you for that work, Assistant City Manager, and your leadership in this, as always. Great. Any other questions or comments? Okay. All right. Executive Analyst Martinez Gavinia, could you please take the roll call vote?
Mayor Reagan-Gonzalez,
Aye.
Councilmember Supple, Councilmember Trotman,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia,
Aye.
Councilmember Whalen.
Aye.
We have 5 ayes.
Thank you. The motion has been approved. The
We
next
have a-
item. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. The city manager had mentioned or had asked that we break the motions.
Oh,
into
that's right. I'm so sorry.
two
Yes.
motions. Oh, no, that's okay. So I just make a second motion that we adopt the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a 3-year agreement with Madison National Life Outches Company for long-term disability insurance benefits.
Garcia seconds.
Great. The motion has been made by Councilmember Troutman and seconded by Councilmember Garcia. Any additional questions or comments from council members? Okay. And Executive.
Mayor, I was just going to make a really.
Troutman.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just going to make a very brief comment about how critical insurance like this is in just stabilizing people's life and quality of life. And I know what it meant for my brother this year who got a job with the union for the first time, and he's worked his whole professional life, but it was the first time that he had health insurance, really quality health. He'd have quality health insurance that he could access, had dental insurance for the first time, and just what an impact that makes on people's lives. And so I'm really glad that we're able to reach an agreement. And thank you, Assistant City Manager Demetranko, for negotiating this, but making sure that our workers have this kind of peace of mind, and their families do too, because it's not just about them, but it's about their families. So thank you, City Manager Demetranko, Assistant City Manager Demetranko.
Thank you. And if I may briefly, Mayor, I just want to also say, yeah, these are very important benefits that we're so fortunate to be able to provide to our employees, and really want to point out, because of course, in this, uncertain financial times, we are so lucky to come in at only a 3.86% rate increase for next year. We're the only Logis member of the entire Logis group that has this low of an increase. And it has a lot to do with our really good claims experience. And I like to think that our employees and their families are just still trying to do whatever they can to be healthy, and it really makes a difference. And then in terms of the long-term disability insurance, which is such a important insurance for people if they find themselves in a really unfortunate situation, going out for bid, this is a 14% rate decrease for annual premium compared to what we have now. So again, this is great news for us as a city going into 2021. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other comments from council members? Executive Analyst Martinez Gavinia, could you please take the roll call vote?
Mayor Reagan-Gonzalez,
Aye.
Councilmember Supple, Councilmember Trotman, Councilmember Garcia,
Aye.
Councilmember Whalen.
Aye.
We have 5 ayes.
Thank you. The motion has been approved. The next item, number 7, will go to Councilmember Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. And this is an item that you referred to earlier, and I think it's really a very significant item that is going to impact us in a very positive way, I believe. And this is the consideration of an approval of an agreement between Hennepin County Human Services and Public Health Department and the City of Ridgefield Police Department for an embedded senior social worker. Hennepin County has presented an agreement on behalf of Hennepin County Human Services and Public Health Department for a mental health program in Ridgefield Police Department. Officers often are having to use their experience and training in crisis conflict management, in persuasion, in de-escalation, in mental health, and in serving those with autism to safely resolve incidents while ensuring the individual receives the necessary services and or medical attention. Officers routinely partner with COPE, which is Community Outreach for Psychiatric Emergencies, and they assist them when a person is in crisis. And this service is provided 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that's provided for an adult who's experiencing an emotional crisis that threatens their personal safety. The Ridgefield Police respond to multiple calls for service, typically around 40,000 calls per year. And notably, the mental health calls have increased over the past 4 years. In 2019, officers responded to 310 incidents specifically involving a mental health crisis. So the Ridgefield Police Department is scheduled to implement an embedded social worker program in September of 2020. And these are some of the goals that they will be achieving. There'll be timely engagement of senior social workers with individuals, increased use of community resources to support individuals, increased use of public assistance programs to assist individuals, and increased use of non-urgent healthcare systems, improving the engagement of current service providers, and ongoing collaboration and learning between Hennepin County Human Services and Public Health and Police Department, improving the quality of life for those who suffer from mental illness and have encounters with the law enforcement, reducing the use of force, injury, or death to officers and community members. And and the list goes on, but I just wanted to say that that this is part of the movement, so that we can really energize the community, that we are living up to taking care of business. And I think that the Chief Henthorn and his folks have done a terrific job, and I really commend them for they already know most of this stuff about public assistance and community service supports for individuals and all of this stuff. But this will allow them, I think, to have a more concentrated and concerted effort in moving and implementing this issue. So for the period of January the 1st of 2021 through December the 31st, 2021, the city will be paying at least $30,000 for the service, and the same for the following year of 2022. And that's it. Chief Henford, do you have anything you want to add? Hello?
Oh, I think we can't hear you, Chief.
Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties. I apologize.
There we go.
Thank you very much. We're very excited about this program. Actually, our new embedded social worker, Donna Nelson is her name, started with us last week. So she's been going through orientation through the police department, but also through Hennepin County. This program sort of spawned out of the model of JCPP several years ago with other jurisdictions that have this program. And due to our relationship with Hennepin County Health and Human Services, and having built up that relationship, we were able to get an embedded social worker to share with the city of Edina. So it's a very unique program. The service level that we're going to be able to provide to our residents is going to be second to none as far as referrals into the Hennepin County Health and Human Services Department by our officers by just quickly doing a referral. And that referral will be immediately sent to the embedded social worker who, when she gets here, will follow up on that case. And what it will really do is obviously not only get the services for those residents that really need them, but cut down on the number of times that we have to go back out to that address as a police officer, which sometimes, can be agitating for the residents. And it doesn't put the resident in harm's way and or our officers. So with the increased mental health calls that we've seen over the last year to 2 years, I think it's going to be a very successful program for us.
I agree, and with that, Mayor, I will move to approve an agreement between the Hennepin County Human Services and Public Health Department and the City of Ridgefield Police Department for implementing the police mental health program.
Councilmember Supple.
Thank you. The motion has been made by Councilmember Garcia and seconded by Councilmember Supple. Are there any comments from council members on the item? Councilmember Whalen.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm really excited about this program, and I know I want to thank staff. I know that the work to get us to this point has been going on long before I think I was even aware that this was an option, but I think it's great. I'm excited about it. I think the reality in not just our community, but across the country is that we, for a long time, maybe the entirety of our country existing, have not given mental health the support and attention it deserves. And so that we end up, our police officers often are the ones who have to respond to these things. And so at the very least, I think one of the great things this program will do is for what services and supports already exist, making sure people are connected with those, that they are operating as they should, that people can get the support they deserve. And so I think this is a great start. I'm excited to see how this goes and hope. I think the reality is that we will probably over time want more than just a shared person with Edina and us, but that I'm really excited about this to start. And I can't wait to hear how it goes and the impact that it makes.
Thank you. Any other comments from folks? Councilmember Supple.
I think also this is a really good example of different units of government working together. And so I'm really appreciative of staff being able to work with Hennepin County and the city of Edina so that we can all work together to make sure that we're getting resources for the members of our community. So thank you all.
Thank you.
And I agree too, because this has been something that the community has really felt necessary that we need to support, and I'm glad it's happening. And certainly wish that this program had been around before, but it hasn't. So let's take advantage of it. And I wish the public to appreciate it the way we do, because it's significant improvement over what we've done in the past.
Thank you, Councilmember Garcia. Councilmember Troutman.
Thank you, Mayor. In addition to just agreeing with everything that my colleagues have said, and appreciate Chief Henthorn, your comments and your leadership here. I really want to point out this is just a nexus between goals that public safety's had, that we've heard from the community. In terms of the goals and the outcomes, I'm not sure if it was you, Chief, that put the staff memo together or who did. I appreciated all the goals, and what makes me so encouraged about every one of those goals is that they're goals that are mirrored perfectly with resources that are mental health resources that we're all moving. They're not they're aspirational, but they're aspirational goals that we're putting staff and dollars to and saying we want our community safe, we want them well, and we just couldn't be more happy to support this initiative that you're leading here, and just continue on that work. Like these are really important goals, and I want to recognize that. I want to thank you for finding this resource and putting our money, but partnering with the county to make this happen as well. And we're grateful for the growing team with our new JCPP liaison and our new social worker, and so just appreciate your leadership, and I'm really glad to support this.
Thank you. I think it's going to be a really successful program.
I would like to just echo the gratitude and thanks for your leadership, Chief Henthorn, in this. This is extremely exciting. And I remember when I was a part of just very initial conversations, and maybe staff had been having this conversation about embedded mental health worker, but it just felt like we had the conversation that, this was very important to our community. And it just felt like, boom, right away, you worked with Hennepin County, you worked with other folks to make this possible and make it a priority. And you leveraged partnerships in what felt like overnight to really make this happen. And it seemed like you just did such a great job. And obviously that comes from years of leadership and years of leveraging existing partnerships and work and a great track record. But I am so excited for this. And as Chief has said in the past, the police and our fire see folks on the worst day of their lives, right? And this role of this embedded mental health social worker is so important. And I remember when I went on a ride along, I think it was a year ago, it could have been even longer than a year ago, I'm not sure. I feel like on COVID time, I'm starting to forget like how long ago it was, but probably within the last year, I went on a ride along and with an officer, and the issue was a mental health issue, and just seeing how our staff, our officers, and our fire folks collaborated and supported that resident, and it was just it was a very difficult thing to also see, right? And there's so many things that our police are asked to do because really at the end of the day, they're kind of like the last resort in so many situations where there should be a mental health infrastructure, where there should be a public health infrastructure, where there should be supports for people struggling with income and food and quality of life issues. That ends up going to our police. And so these kinds of supports are extremely important. And I got to see that, directly and in that situation, but also as a person who works in public health, knowing that this is so important. So thank you for your leadership, Chief, on this. And I'm very excited to also see how this all comes together with our liaison as well, and how we all kind of leverage those resources to build something bigger in building that trust and that support for our residents.
Thank you.
Great. Seeing as there are no other discussion items, Analyst Martinez-Gavinia, could you please take the roll call vote?
Mayor Reagan-Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoppel.
Aye.
Councilmember Troutman. Councilmember Garcia.
Aye.
Councilmember Whalen.
Aye.
We have 5 ayes.
Thank you. The motion has been approved. The next item is the city manager's report, and that goes to City Manager Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mayor. I have gotten some questions from council members, but also we're starting to get some questions from residents about voting. I just wanted to let you know we do have good information on our website, and we also plan to have a robust communications plan as we get closer to the dates. But I did want to just give you the dates really briefly. Starting Friday, September 18th, so not too far away, residents can vote absentee in person at City Hall. The voting hours are from Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And we are working on having separate lines. So You wouldn't have to stand in line for motor vehicle services. We'll have a separate line for voting and a separate line for the motor vehicle services. For those that want to drop off their absentee ballot or actually fill in an absentee ballot at City Hall. Then 7 days before the election, we have direct balloting. It's still absentee voting, but you actually feed your absentee or your ballot into the counting machine. And so you don't have to put it in a series of envelopes. And the direct balloting, it starts Tuesday, October 27th through Friday, October 30th, also at City Hall. It's from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., so same hours. Will also be open that Saturday, October 31st, and that's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We'll be closed Sunday, but then again on Monday, November 2nd, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then, of course, you would go to your regular polling location on Election Day, November 3rd. So I can take any questions about it. And we also still have Assistant City Manager Pam Demcharko on the line as well.
Mayor, I just wanted to,
go ahead, Councilmember Garcia.
I just wanted to emphasize that what the city manager said is so very, very, very important. And for those that are reluctant to go anywhere and put even their ballot in the mail, you can go to City Hall and deposit it, and it's safely there, and it'll be counted. So you don't really have to mail it. Just take it to City Hall, and it'll be taken care of, and everything will be. You'll feel a lot better. It's a great. I think what the city's doing a great promotion.
Great, thank you, Councilmember Garcia. Councilmember Whalen.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of things. Just wanted to emphasize, in case folks did not vote in person for the primary or presidential primary, but are planning to vote in person, your polling place might be different than previous years, which I'm fairly certain is also on the city website, but that because of some of the school construction, they are different. And so I know, like in my ward, folks who voted at the STEM school, you'll actually be voting at RDLS, and folks who voted at Centennial will be voting at House of Prayer. But I would encourage anyone who's able, who's been thinking about it, to vote by mail or vote absentee in some form ahead of time. That's the safest to do during the pandemic. If you're concerned with all of this conversation about our mail service and possible delays, there is on the Secretary of State's website, which you can get to easily by typing in mnvotes.org. There is a tracker where if you mail in your ballot, you can check like a week and a half later or something and see that it had arrived, that it's been counted and accepted and all that. But yes, there is, for anyone with more questions, the city website is great. It also has our city clerk's phone number. Beth Van Hoos is awesome and happy to help you with any voting questions you've got.
Thank you, Councilmember Whalen. Any other comments or questions from council members? Councilmember Troutman.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just going to say briefly, just comment on how effective and well established our absentee balloting process is. I know there are national conversations that are heated around absentee balloting, and some states that haven't done this in the past are struggling to do this because of COVID. But I just want to point out this is a long established tradition in Minnesota, and for I forget how many election cycles you've been able to ballot absentee vote for any reason. You don't need a reason, and nobody's trying to figure this out. Thankfully, for the first time in Minnesota, but we have one of the highest voter participation rates in the country, and part of that is because we've been doing absentee balloting for a long time.
Thank you, Councilmember Troutman. Any other questions or comments on this? Great. Thank you. And City Manager Rodriguez, was that the end of the report or are there other items?
Nope, just the one tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Great. Thank you. The next item is claims and payroll, and that will go to Councilmember Garcia and her two little puppies.
Thank you. At least I give them credit for helping me. It's time, I think, to pay our employees, and time and our obligation is to pay those folks that we owe. So I will move claims and payroll.
Second, Councilmember Troutman.
Thank you. Claims and payroll has been moved by Councilmember Garcia and seconded by Councilmember Troutman. Analyst Martinez Gavinia, could you please take the roll call vote?
Mayor Reagan Gonzalez,
Aye.
Councilmember Supple, Councilmember Troutman, Councilmember Garcia,
Aye.
Councilmember Whalen.
Aye.
We have 5 ayes.
Thank you. Payroll has been approved. The next item, item 10, I will review. The City Council passed a resolution enacted pursuant to Minnesota Statutes Section 12.29, extending the period of a mayor declared local emergency at their meeting on March 18th, 2020. At the same meeting, City Council passed a motion to revisit the emergency declaration at a council meeting in 6 months' time. Due to the evolving COVID-19 pandemic that is impacting our local community, state, and country, Mayor Reagan Gonzalez declared a state of a local emergency on March 16th, 2020, and the City Council extended the declared local emergency in order to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the city and the community. There has only been one city manager executive order issued under the local emergency declaration, which allowed food establishments flexibility to establish outdoor dining. However, the city has needed to continually adjust its how it delivers services, consistent with the intent of the local emergency declaration, in order to best follow federal, state, and local public health guidance. Before I open it up, this is not an item to vote on. It's just an item to discuss for council discussion. And I do want to read, because of that, what the recommended action is. So the recommended action is staff recommending the local emergency declaration remain in place in order to best respond to the COVID-19 pandemic, which continues to be a fluid and evolving situation. City Council does not need to take formal action to continue the mayor declared local emergency. City Council could direct staff to bring consideration of the mayor declared local emergency back to a future council meeting after a specific time period if desired. So I will open it up. I guess I'll open it up to, let's see here, City Manager Rodriguez, or let's see, reported by, or Analyst Martinez Gavinia. I'm sorry, I'm not sure who is the staff to bring it back to, if there's any other items that should be added to that.
So, Mayor, if the council takes no action tonight, then the mayor declared local emergency would stay in place until the council takes any action at a further meeting. Someone could make a motion to ask or direct staff to bring it back to a future council meeting, just like they did when you first ratified the mayor declared local emergency. So if you take no action, it'll just stay in place, or council members could make a motion to revisit it at a future council meeting at some specified time frame.
Thank you, City Manager Rodriguez. And I'd like to thank Councilmember Troutman for making this motion previously in March and making sure that we do revisit and bring it back to the City Council. Obviously, using this type of power does not, in some terms, for some folks, they never have to use this power at all. And unfortunately, we've been in this space where this is so important, and it is important to have this discussion with the full council, to have checks and balances, and really make sure when we are doing this that we're using good governance in the process. So thank you, Councilmember Troutman, for doing that back in March and for having this come in front of the council again. So I'll open it up to council members to discuss this. Anyone want to comment on this? Councilmember Troutman.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and I just want to say thank you to you and our staff. Not every city gets to have a mayor that has a public health background like you do in the middle of a public health pandemic. So we're really grateful for your leadership in the middle of this, and appreciate the opportunity, just as our emergent situation is ongoing, just to check in about this. And I understand from our city attorney, Mary Keegan, that if at any future date any council member wanted to revisit the emergency status, any council member could put that item on the agenda, or request that it be put on the agenda. But I just want to take this opportunity to thank you and thank all of our staff for guiding us through a really challenging time, and so appreciate your leadership.
Thank you. Any other comments from council members on this item? Okay, so I do understand that staff is looking for direction, correct, on this, if we continue with the mayor declared local emergency, or if we discuss another option, or we talk about bringing this back in front of council after a specific time period. Is that correct, city manager?
Yes, if you took no action, then the mayor declared local emergency would just be in place until council brought it back to a future meeting. Or you could make a motion tonight to direct staff to bring it back after a specified time period.
Thank you. Any opinions from council on this? Councilmember Whalen.
Thank you, Mayor. I think given the nature of the pandemic, that I think increasingly, I don't know that there's going to be a clear end. I think just having, and certainly we can bring it up sooner if that seems relevant, but having a date that we revisit it makes sense. And I think another 6 months, the first meeting in March would make sense. But I think it is absolutely necessary that we keep this in place and have the flexibility that we need. We are clearly still in an emergency, as almost all states and a lot of cities are still saying. And so, yeah, I think the fact that we have this is not entirely related, but that we have some Senate leadership in our state that seems to think there is no longer an emergency and are focused on getting rid of this. I think this type of flexibility is exactly what all levels of our government need right now to respond. And I'm not at all worried about this being a abuse of power situation, or so I think this is absolutely the right call.
Thank you, Councilmember Whalen. So I heard you propose a 6-month visit back in front of the council, correct? Great. Okay. What do other council members think about that idea? Councilmember Supple.
I think it's fine to consider with the emergency declaration the way it is, because we've been very prudent in how it's been used. It's only been used once, but it's good to have it there in case we do need it in a timely fashion. And I would be fine with Councilmember Whalen's suggestion of coming back in 6 months and looking at it.
Great, thank you. Any other feedback from council members on this? Councilmember Troutman, did you raise your hand? No.
It was a very, very subtle gesture, like very observant. I was just going to mention this is tangentially related to the declaration of the emergency, which is the implementation of the emergency plan, which you need to have a state of emergency before we can implement that plan. And when it comes again, just to good government practices, and not to not a concern with anybody's particular leadership. I am concerned that I understand there's private data in that plan, and so we don't want to widely circulate it, but I would feel a lot more comfortable if I think right now there are no electeds that have access to that emergency plan, and I would feel a lot better if we at least had the mayor, if she so chose, to have the ability to access that emergency plan. There was some question whether that was lawful or allowed, and so if there was any way that we could get clarity on that, just so I think as a best practice, there is a part of the elected branch of government that would have insight, even if it's a very tactical, granular level document, to if there needs to be that accountability, or there should be that accountability, to have some part of the elected government able to access those plans.
City Manager Rodriguez. Thank you, Councilmember Troutman.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Troutman, rather. You asked me about this on Friday, and I told you that I had to ask our attorney, and I have not had a chance to do that. And I will do that, and I will report back.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was not intended to put anybody on the spot, but just something that and concern I wanted to raise. So thank you very much, City Manager, for looking into that.
Great. Any other comments from council on this item? I'll just share it. I think, did Council Member Garcia drop off the line? I'm not seeing him.
I do believe we either lost her or she left.
Okay, got it. Okay.
She did mention she was leaving.
Oh, I missed that. I'm so sorry. Thank you. So I will just like to weigh in, excuse me, and say that I'm totally fine with a 6 months revisit of this declaration in front of council in March. And I've also really appreciated the great communication our staff has had, before anything is done, really coming to the council and saying, here's what we're thinking we might need to do, here's why, and just communicating along the whole way, and of course being very prudent with that power. So I have greatly appreciated that level of communication. Great. So I think that sounds like everybody has weighed in and given direction on that to come back in 6 months and revisit this in front of the council. And then we will wait to hear back in terms of getting some level of access to the emergency plan. All right, the next item is the hats off to hometown hits. So I will start with Councilmember Troutman.
Thank you, Mayor. And the one hats off that I have for our hometown hits is for our Parks and Rec directors. I was really excited to learn that in addition to their summer programming, they also have fall athletic programming for students. And so I just continue to be appreciative of how they continue to find socially distant ways to engage kids. And I know it means so much to my boys when they're able to engage in things that are normal and fun and recreative. And so hats off to our Parks and Rec team. And if you're interested, the fees are incredibly reasonable, and the opportunity is just great to be able to participate in athletics.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Troutman. Councilmember Whalen.
Thank you, Mayor. Couple of things I wanted to lift up. I think first and foremost, which I might be stealing her thunder as our teacher on council, but wanted to give a shout out to everyone involved in the first day of school. Certainly a huge thank you to teachers, to counselors, to administrators, and our school board, all the people who've been prepping a lot to make this school year work with all of the open-ended questions and uncertainties. Also want to give a nod of support to all of the parents out there who are figuring out whatever schooling looks like right now. that this has become another full-time job for some families. And so just want to say that we see you and support you, and that we'll figure out this year together. But just wanted to lift up everyone on the first day of school. And then I think we've got, this is going to be coming before the council in a work session soon, but the Sustainability Commission just looked at the city's climate action plan last week, and I'm just really excited about it. We'll get a chance to dive into it more, but huge thank you to, I'm not going to get her title right, Sustainability Coordinator Lindholm on staff for and Director Markle for working on that. I'm sure more staff weighed in on various points of that. The Sustainability Commission had tons of great questions. I think are only going to make it stronger. So excited to keep working on that and have a clear, even clearer path toward how we address climate change and take care of our environment as a city. And then the last thing, just want to invite folks, this Thursday is our budgeting work session. And then at our next council meeting, I believe is going to be the formal vote on the preliminary budget. And so if you've been following along on that, this Thursday, September 10th at 4:30 is our next work session. If you want to tune in and watch how that goes.
Thank you, Councilmember Whalen. Councilmember Supple.
Thank you. It was a great first day of school. Got to meet a lot of fun families and look forward to meeting some more during the rest of the week as we're kind of checking in and getting to know people. So it was a really great way to start. I also want to do a shout out to the Recreation Department because they have a new program called Sports to Go, where you can check out sports equipment for a week. And the times to check it out is on Wednesdays from 2 to 5 at the community center. So if you want to get some pickleball rackets or tennis balls or some kind of equipment so that you can be active, it's Wednesdays from 2 to 5 and you check it out for a week from the community center. Also, the ice arena is open. So that's one of those, woohoo, this is awesome because we've been waiting for weeks and weeks and weeks. And so it's up and running. And then the last thing is back at the beginning of the year, the Ridgefield Arts Commission had another sidewalk poetry contest and the poets were selected. And I'm happy to say that now the poems have been put into the sidewalks on 66th Street from Portland all the way over to 35W. So if the weather warms up a little bit in the next few days and you want to go for a walk, you can read some great poetry on 66th Street. And that's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Supple. And I will wrap us up with just reminding everyone to please fill out your census. Please call your neighbors. Please call your friends. Please call your family and make sure everybody fills out the census. And I'm not sure if we're still looking for volunteers, Analyst Martinez-Gavinia, or if there's any other ways that residents can support with the census or not. Is it just at this point making sure that everybody continues to tell their friends and family to fill it out?
Yes, so I am still looking for volunteers. There's still definitely ways to participate in phone calls. We are going to start, or we're already in the process of doing phone banks. So if anybody is still interested in doing that, we're also going to be partnering with the county to do some text campaigns. And that may not only be for Ridgefield, but definitely a lot of Ridgefield residents. And we need people that are able to write in Spanish. And it's just a quick reminder for folks to fill out their census. So we still need people, and people can reach me at my email, bmgavina, Gavina, at ridgefieldmn.gov. And I am happy to set them up. It's very easy. And yeah, we definitely need as many hands on deck at this point.
Great. Thank you so much, Executive Analyst Martinez Gavinia. So again, please call everyone you know and ask them to fill out the census. And if you have even just a little bit of time, we'd greatly appreciate your support in calling your neighbors and to make sure they fill out the census. This only happens once every 10 years and it provides so much data and opportunities for our residents. So whatever you can do, this is crucially important. We've got, I think, 3 weeks left before it ends. And with that, we have no other business, so I will adjourn our meeting. Thank you, everybody, and have a great night.